Hi, my name's Harold Gutmann. I cover North Carolina. I'm here with my colleague Steve Wiseman, who covers Duke. And welcome to Our Game, a video presentation by the Durham Herald-Sun, where we talk about our game in the triangle, which is, of course, college basketball. Steve, a lot to get to. We've kind of turned the corner with the new year. We're done with non-conference play, heading into conference play. Kind of looking back, what are the biggest takeaways from Duke from the non-conference schedule?
Well, we wondered how good Jabari Parker was going to be as a freshman, and he's proven he's one of the elite players in the country as far as scoring and creating on offense. He has some work to do on defense. Coach K mentions that every now and again, but he's getting there, and he's certainly doing his part. Rodney Hood is also handling the scoring duty that they wanted him to. And the key for them was, number one, to fix their defense, which was kind of poor early in the non-conference, and number two, find a third and fourth scorer. And they've done both of those things. They played much better defense since Thanksgiving, since they went to New York for that tournament. And also the scoring, Andre Dawkins has proven to be a really reliable scorer off the bench. And Rashid Suleiman's kind of picked things up a little better. And Quinn Cook is scoring in double figures consistently. So I think Duke is primed and ready for a good ACC season.
Yeah, with North Carolina, I think the biggest positive takeaway is the play of Marcus Page. He was a point guard as a freshman last year. They asked him to play shooting guard this year. Not only that, but he was their only consistent perimeter shooter. He had the only consistent scorer, so he had a lot to take on. He's averaging like 35 minutes a game, which is second in the conference, and he's been able to do it. He's averaging 18.5 points. His outside shot, which he struggled a little bit last year, is there this year. He's hitting 40% from three, despite being the focal point of most teams' defenses. So that's your biggest positive. I mean, he's worked his way right up to that All-ACC conversation. As a negative, they're still trying to find that consistent body at center who can start day in, day out. Joel James started the first 10 games. He was strong defensively, sort of limited offensively, only averaging about 12 minutes and 3 points, which shows you how kind of confident the coaches were in him. He hurt his knee, so Bryce Johnson came in. His two starts were probably his worst 2 games of the year. He's just a guy, for whatever reason, some guys, they need to come off the bench, they need to get a feel for the game and then bring that energy off the bench. And so the most recent game, they started Kennedy Meeks, and he went scoreless in his first start. So they still have to find that consistent starter in the post. And then, of course, off the court, the whole P.J. Harrison saga finally reached its resolution, not in the way that North Carolina fans necessarily wanted. I know you'll talk to some Carolina fans that say, well, we're just happy that we know where we stand. Believe me, you'd be a lot happier if your best player was on the court. But it is resolved now, so at least you know who you have going forward. Leslie McDonald's back on the team, and P.J. Harrison's obviously off. So now Duke's going to open ACC play. Notre Dame's first ever ACC game is going to be with Duke coming in. I'm sure that was a total coincidence. What are you going to expect now that we're in conference play?
Yeah, I mean, things are going to ratchet up. As usual, Coach K's rotation will shrink down to his 7 or 8 that he's normally going to use. And we'll see where they go from there. It is interesting to start off at Notre Dame for a first conference game. It's a strange thing for everybody, but let's get going. And later on this month, Duke will go to Pittsburgh and then Syracuse. Before the 2nd of February, they'll visit all 3 new schools. So that's where we'll go from there. How about Carolina?
Yeah, and I should mention the reason that I joked about the coincidence, Mike Bray, obviously a longtime Duke Coach K assistant, and Coach K from Chicago. Carolina, they have a soft kind of opening. They're traveling to Wake, which if you have to start on the road, you'd rather probably start with Wake than Notre Dame. And then Miami at home. Miami's struggling without basically their entire starting lineup from last year. So they have a soft opening. They should be able to build some confidence before they go to Syracuse next weekend, which obviously is going to be a huge test for them. I think everyone knows there's Syracuse. It seems like there's Syracuse and Duke at the top, and then there's a real battle for third. And it seems like Carolina is kind of in the driver's seat for that. Virginia, who we thought would do really well, not only can they still not score, but they can't seem to guard anyone now. So it's a packed combination. Pitt's 12-1, but they haven't really played anyone, so you don't know what you're going to get from them. So I think that that 3 spots right there to be had. Carolina's shown they could beat anyone that they play. They've also shown that if they don't come out and play, they can lose to anyone.
Right.
So it's going to be an interesting season, but certainly, I would expect Carolina and Duke to be at the top of the standings going forward.
Right.
So thank you guys so much for watching. Now the conference play has started. We'll be here every week, and thanks for watching our game.